visual, auditory?
A little bit of everything.
Okay. All right. So what we'll do is I will record this for you. I'll upload it to our YouTube drive and then I'll share the links and everything with you. That way, as you go through the process of updating everything and you can go back and reference it and,
Okay,
okay.
perfect.
All right. So what do you think about your current LinkedIn profile, your resume before I start chopping it up for you?
Um, I would tell you, my resume, I look at it knowing that that was created 10, 15 years ago, and I feel like it's 10, 15 years old. And I slapped in this section that says Client Services Director right under the title just so that it was there.
Okay.
But I feel like, okay, this is really outdated and it probably needs to be blown up.
All
And
right.
then as far as LinkedIn, I was looking at this morning going, oh my God, you've got a lot of cleanup to do here.
Okay, so a couple of general things. I don't like to have a ton of variance between your actual resume and your LinkedIn.
Yep.
I think, and especially for people who are in some kind of digital role like you are,
Hmm.
I call it being your own best student. I think that when you are in some kind of tech space, it would be like me teaching somebody to sell and using a different process to close them.
Right.
It's just shoddy, right? Bad used car salesman
Yep.
deal. So I think that it's good form to have a paper resume, especially in the world where you potentially have to sit down in front of somebody. The only thing that LinkedIn lacks is a good cover letter. If you're a cover letter type of person, I think the more C suite you get, the more good form a cover letter is. However, there needs to be very little variance between your actual resume and your LinkedIn.
Yep.
You have a lot of variance. So
Okay.
that's number one. The other thing is that LinkedIn gives you the ability to have like a portfolio feel. And that I love because, you can't do that on a two-dimensional piece of paper. So
Right.
that's really great. And you do seem to have some activity. So that's a beautiful thing also. The other thing that I will say is you're kind of walking into a pretty warmed up, beyond warm, if not boiling opportunity here. So you're not going to fight the algorithm per se, but I also don't want to take advantage of what you've got going on here. If this were to fall on its face and,
That's where I'm at, Kat, is yeah, this all sounds well and good, but it's
yeah,
not a done deal.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So we're going to fix it. And, the other thing that I think is interesting about what the opportunity is that you're walking into, and I always am a firm advocate of it's why my LinkedIn profile is as robust as it is that when I have clients that are looking at me, I want to make sure that they have the ability to pull me up, look at me, and go, oh, good, she's not archaic. Oh, good, she is actually relevant. She has an opinion, things like that.
Yeah.
And so, if you really are being given an opportunity to be the face of big projects, I think a lot of people step over the opportunity to keep themselves fresh and relevant on a platform like LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Um, we have a friend who has he really really amazing guy, and he said, "Oh well, I only have my LinkedIn profile because I keep in touch with my West Point class," and I'm like, "Do you honestly think that?" Big clients that you're closing, these huge relationships that you hold close to you, don't get on? Like, don't you see him? He's like, yeah, I see him getting on my thing. I'm like, oh, Tony, get on there and do something. And he's like, Kat, of all the people that I talk to, which we don't really talk business, that's just not the type of friendship
Yeah.
that we have. It's like, that never even occurred to me. I'm like, for the love of all things holy, I am going to steal your password and fix your stuff. You're making my skin crawl. But, like, it's the easiest access to see you
Yeah.
throughout business also. So I think once we get this updated, I would just encourage you to get on and just stay industry relevant on it.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to share my screen with you,
Perfect.
and I'll point out a couple of things. It's not as bad as you think it is. So
Which one, my
do.
LinkedIn or my resume?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna just start top down for you
Yep.
here, and then you can just stop me as we go.
Okay.
All right, so the first thing is this back banner.
Yep.
Um, I would change it. So this is just valuable real estate. So I'm gonna show you a couple things here. So here's mine. What I would tell you is while that picture is beautiful, it's not relevant to your industry.
Right.
Okay, so I'll show you a couple of them. So here's my daughter. Um, we changed hers. Usually, what I tell people is to choose a second image that is industry specific and maybe a little bit more relaxed or a little bit more professional, depending on your profile picture isn't bad. You can tell Kayla works in the agricultural industry. So
Hmm.
obviously this is her reigning horse and her very, very expensive prize winning steer here. But she's working in operations in the ag industry. So that's why
Okay.
she's got just kind of keywords here. You can see this is my son's. Ironically, Parker works for John Deere. Shocker.
Oh, interesting.
So again, you can see, and I pick on my kids here. I'm sure you can tell that their mother did these for them, but they're very industry relevant, even though they're a little bit more relaxed. And then one of my trainers, who's a great example and a little bit just more simple about how he goes about life. We made all of these backdrops on Canva, and I can show you how to do that or get you
Okay.
access to it. They're just templates, and Mario just chose to use a quote that he pretty much lives by in all of the coaching that he
Hmm.
does. So there's a big difference here. What we're looking to do is to kind of soft introduce you with that back banner.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, okay. So let me show you really quick. Canva is, for those of us who raised children and didn't have this, it makes me sad, but all
Yeah.
the school projects that we had to do without it. So if you get to just canva.com,
Yeah. Actually, I've
and you,
used this. Jan
oh,
uses it quite a bit.
oh, I'm sure she does. Okay, so LinkedIn banner. Um, Oops, if I typed it all the way in, that would help. LinkedIn banner. And you can see there's tons of templates. I'm sure your very talented wife can help you here and just find something. You can even be more specific and say IT specific, if I can spell today. And it'll help you get a little bit more tech oriented, like this is beautiful
Yeah.
and very professional looking. Okay.
Okay.
Um, so that would be my first one for you here. The second thing that I'm going to tell you is we need to change your uh, title.
Good. Yeah.
First of all, you don't work for them anymore.
Correct. Well, and I
Second of,
started looking up, going, I need to change that in the current company, but I'm sure you'll have a suggestion on what that title should be. So I just, I'll wait.
yeah, yeah. So what I tell people is to follow the format. I help ABC do one, two, three. I actually do this for anybody, even if you have a role inside an organization. Titles are too random these days.
Yeah.
You can be the director of bullshit somewhere, and it's equivalent to somebody's CEO. So I usually tell people, how do you help, and who is your demographic? Okay, so I help ABC do one, two, three. I help growing organizations manage IT projects to their ultimate success.
Okay.
Okay. And by the way, you can run through 5 or 6 iterations of that. I change mine all the time because I don't ever do one specific thing, and I don't ever like the one I have, but I currently do. I help companies improve employee retention and reduce turnover. And then I have a few things beyond it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Moving on. This about section, actually need to pull your resume. This about section it's odd. It's weird. So we need to do some repairing on that one. So what do you like about this about section? Do you have a
Okay.
sense?
I'm going to move you over to my big screen. So if you look and see that I'm looking to the side, it's not I'm ignoring you. So,
No, you can't offend me. I promise people try every day.
okay. I'm not trying, but I I'm not I actually think when Ultra started to get more involved, they said, could you make some suggestions? So I'm not necessarily, in fact, as I look through some of this, there's some of it I might kind of take off, but what are your thoughts?
Okay, so if you look, so we'll use mine as a suggestion here. So what you have on your actual resume, um, come on, sorry, I got too many screens open here. Sorry. We just have to come up with one. And I will tell you that what you have on here is not going to do it. What you have on your resume is strategic business leader with extensive experience in business transformation initiatives, known for building strong relationships with senior executives, improves operational efficiencies, and brings greater returns to organizations through the effective use of people, processes, and technology. Passionate about helping individuals and organizations achieve the unachievable. To be fair, that's better.
Not great, but better than this.
Well, I can send you a recommendation. I ran the whole thing through ChatGPT, and ChatGPT only had 6 changes to your resume, which is great.
Oh, okay.
It's got some just tightening up, but it didn't change a whole lot of things that I'm not going to recommend anyways. I would get rid of all of these bullets.
So, Kat, would you, I mean, to this cutting it, I mean, basically, if I took what you were recommending, what ChatGPT recommended for the resume, if I just copied and pasted that here, that would be,
Here's what I tell people, and not an insult to your age, but it'll make sense to you because you know what a newspaper is. Some young people
yep,
are like, a newspaper? What the hell is a newspaper?
yeah,
Uh, above the fold. When we pull a LinkedIn profile, so here we'll use mine right here.
yep,
What's above the fold? What's gonna catch and make the first impression? It is literally this first paragraph, all of the graphics and how to get a hold of me, right?
yep,
All right. If I pull yours, it is this very beautiful picture, which we're going to change.
yep,
We need how to get a hold of you and this first paragraph.
yep.
Okay. So that first paragraph is what we have to make an adjustment and say, bam, this is the guy we want to know more about.
Okay, fair enough.
That's what we're trying to make worth it. We're going to get to your activity here in just a minute, but that's why that all of this other bullet stuff is irrelevant.
Gotcha.
Not to mention the fact most likely unseen.
Yep, okay,
Okay, so there's that. I will send you the chat GPT recommendations here when we're
okay.
finished. Okay. All right, let's keep going down here for a hot second. All right, so um all of this ultra experience
Mm-hmm.
needs a description. So you have descriptions on here. Here's the chat GPT recommendation. Quantitative results. So I am a huge stickler for quantitative results. First of all, you need descriptions. So that's one of the things that you're missing.
Okay,
The other thing that you're missing is what did you do for these companies? So like one of the things that you'll see when you use mine as a sample is that we have an average of 315% year over year growth in companies that we work with. because most people are like, really? Like, can we talk to those companies? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Well, who do you want to talk to first? Right?
Yeah.
Because most training and coaching companies can't say that they have an average acceleration of 315% year over year growth. But people are like, well, how? And I'm like, well, pay your bill and then I'll show you.
Yeah.
Right. But so when we look here at yours, this is okay, right? Like we can run this through Chat GPT, but then where was your influence? You got a little bit of it here, right?
Yeah.
$2.1 million in validated ERP. Now I need you to put it up here for client service director.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so you've got it here. These are all awesome. I need you to do that exact same thing up here under client service directors. And then I need all of this to go over here.
Okay.
Um, Ironically, you have it here too. Why don't you have it under client service director? Because you just slapped it in there or what?
Yep.
Okay, fair.
Yep.
See, you barely need me.
I wouldn't say that. That's not true.
You're good at this. You got this. All right. Okay, so developing staff. All right, so this. Okay, so lots there. Those all look good. Okay, here's the other thing I didn't like. This blue box has got to go. I don't like this.
Okay.
Okay, a couple of reasons. First of all, it's weird. Second of all, it's phrased odd. I would change it to something like core competencies. I don't know if I can show you mine. I don't think I have it. Um, I don't want to pick too much on the outlay on this resume because, like I said, I think it's somewhat irrelevant. It's just going to be good form for you.
Yeah.
But I think that you would do better to duplicate this professional experience and summary bar and add it as a core competency.
Okay.
Um, if you don't, do you have an aversion to the word core competency?
Uh,
You could use area of expertise.
okay. Yeah, don't necessarily immediately have a strong thought one way or the other.
I want you to be able to be well represented by your portfolio and
Yeah.
so like if you don't like some of these things, I would rather give you a alternative.
Hmm.
Um, so area of expertise or core competency, um, you've got a couple of things. Once we start to duplicate this, the SEO is going to be important. So being sought out isn't something that SEO is going to grab.
Oh, good point.
Um, so that's another separate issue. Okay, so strategic vision. Okay, so providing okay, so I'm back up here in this blue box
Yep.
right here. Um, I would change perspective to vision and execution.
Okay.
Let's see, collaborative relationships, solving problems. Creatively and resourcefully is the wrong tense. That just needs to be present tense, creative problem solving and innovation.
Okay.
That's a Chat GPT catch. Customer centric. So is maintain.
Okay.
All right, so let's pop back over here real quick. What questions do you have for me so far?
No, this is what I was hoping for. And I mean, the only other piece would be if there's things on here you look at and go, yeah, this really isn't relevant, or I don't like where it's at.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you that the advice that they gave you in regards to removing expired certifications is very interesting to me because I am not a strip back type of person. I believe that um, LinkedIn to me should never be stripped back so that you get credit for all of the things that you have done.
Yep.
I would tell you that you can put in there that your license is closed. I was looking, did you take your license off of here? Because I was just looking
I
for
haven't
it.
touched it. I thought it was on there, but it may not be on there at the moment.
Okay. Here's the other thing. Can you sit for your PMP test again?
I could. It'd probably take me some effort. And frankly, I'm not sure if I even want to at this point.
Okay. Do you need your PMP? Is it a request?
No,
Is it a, okay.
no. I mean, I think if they
Okay.
were hiring me to be specifically a project manager and that's what I wanted to do, or in a project management office, I'd probably, yes, go see about getting retested and recertified. But
How many times did it take you to pass the first time?
once,
Okay. How long ago was that?
many, many moons ago,
Okay. Yeah. So then I would just hold off. It's very hard to pass it right now.
it is. It is. I do know that.
All right, so let's go back here. It's not on here. Are all, God bless it. Are all of your other things on here? All
As
of
far
your other
as,
certifications?
yeah, I don't have a lot of certifications.
Okay. So this everything else is on here that you have then.
Yes.
Okay. All right, then let's just look at these really quick. Okay. You need some new recommendations. So all these people who have reached out to you
Yeah.
that have said, "Oh my gosh, anything we can do." Um, you need you need some fresh ones. The last ones that are on here are 2017.
Okay.
All right, what else? What other questions do you have for me so far?
You've given me a lot to do, which is good.
Do you have any, so here would be the last piece that I would give that I would tell you. Do you have any projects that you specifically have worked or run that would contribute to a portfolio well? And I can give you some examples if you are not sure.
Uh, Give me some examples because I'm not 100% sure.
So, one of the things that I mentioned earlier that is a fantastic use of LinkedIn is its ability for you to actively put projects on LinkedIn. So, Anna is one of my Australian clients, and she specifically builds media campaigns for things like think large Australian media.
Okay.
Um, so these are, oh, she must be building that one. So she went in and she wrote up projects as examples of how she goes about building the project. So as she's working to either build her career or she's trying to come here to the States, somebody can go in and learn about how she builds projects. This one she did with associated with PhD Australia. She's specifically talking about her results.
Okay.
Here's one of my Canadian clients. His is a little bit more IT driven. So unless you're specifically in IT, you don't know. But like if we go and show project, he's got the slide down. Somebody who specifically knows what these projects are, you can see all the work that he does.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, this is what makes LinkedIn more of that portfolio aspect that you could never put into um, a two-dimensional resume.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now that I've shown you, do you have client projects that you could go back and either do a write-up on or mention?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even internal projects, we just kind of revamped our selection process. So, and I led that. So I could certainly create some write-ups for some of our projects.
Okay. So I would tell you two, if not three, wide scope. So like if one is like I have one client right now, he's doing he works in the well, he just left because he was having a moral issue with it, but he completely changed the credit card processing on an online gambling company that he was
Hmm.
working with, right? So they went from PayPal that was charging them through the roof, that wasn't reliable, it was, very laborious for people to get their bets in and all of that, and totally changed it to an app driven process from a web-based process. So he did his write up on the uh not only the web to app process, but then also the cost savings and the revenue savings from moving from PayPal, which is uber expensive,
Yeah.
to another processor. And that's one of his projects that he's mentioning on his LinkedIn. So there's a couple things. You are more than just an AI write up. Okay, so you are what you say you are. So there's that.
Yep.
Then there's also the timestamp. So, kind of like what we were talking about earlier. Yes, today it's your resume, but tomorrow or in February or June of next year, when I get on and say, oh, so I heard that the guy that's going to be running my project, this is him. Let's see if he's really what he says he is. And you've got this portfolio that's time stamped underneath you, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yep. Yep. Okay. I've never done a project write-up on LinkedIn, obviously, so this will be a good experience for me.
They're really great. And I will tell you the other thing is if or when you decide that this is the right fit for you, to teach your people to do this, it's so powerful because they get their portfolio started.
Yeah.
I'm an advocate of, we don't train our people to stay, we train our people so that they're equipped to stay. And it's really powerful for them to be recognized that way.
Yep. Yep. That's
Yeah.
really great advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. What else can I do for you? What questions do you have for me? How else can I help you?
I think at the moment, let me get started on the activities so
Okay.
that I don't get too much. But let me get started on this, and I'll start.
Great.
I think I'm going to start with my resume because it felt like that was probably the easiest, and a lot of that will port over to LinkedIn.
Yeah, copy and paste for sure. And then, like I said, the only thing that you'll really want an actual matching version will be a cover letter.
Yeah.
And that would be the only thing that we really didn't do. You could really do that in ChatGPT. But again, these are all things that you'll want to be able to speak to from be your own best student
Yeah.
standpoint, that you can run it. How do you feel about AI?
Um, Still trusting to use it.
Okay.
Obviously there are, being in the industry and we're always looking for how are the software vendors, kind of trying to keep up on stuff. I'm I'm amazed at what you found and how reliant you are on Chat GPT because that's not, I've looked at it a couple times, not really used it, so this will be another good experience for me.
Okay.
But yeah, I think there is opportunity to leverage technology to make things better because I know on the flip side, once I put it into a pipeline, whether it's this company, they're using AI, they're using all that stuff to help filter it out. So I might as well lean into it
Yeah.
and maximize
So
that.
just for your reference, in case you're asked, we're not using the free version. We're using ChatGPT 4.
Okay.
And we're using it based on the parameters of Khan Academy. Did your kids use Khan Academy at school?
I don't think so. I'm not
Okay.
used. Yeah.
Yeah, Khan Academy is where they go for like their individual modules and like online reinforcement. And if you're a reader, I can give you a book that is written by the developer of Khan Academy and how
Yep.
they're developing that type of thing. So I don't live by it. We do a we do a series called AI versus Trainer, where somebody requests something. We ask a large language model, depends on what it is, the question. We let AI run the mod, and then we will answer it as a human and kind of show you the differences, right? Because it's not all or nothing.
Yeah.
And there are reasons to use it. Sometimes it does make my life easier. Sometimes it does make my life harder. So, but there's also a lot of days where I'm tired and I'm blonde. So it does kind of do a lot of things for me. So, but I want to make sure that as you go through this process, you are able to say, yes, I did use it. This is the module I used it in, and this is why I used it, things
Okay.
like that. Because I think um, it'll give you some traction just to be able to say, I don't love it. I'm not an expert. I know it exists and I'm willing to try, or I'm willing to use it. Because I think in some cases it's better than saying, I'm too old for that, or that, or, like whatever, because, understanding that it exists, in my experience, will at
Yep.
least to say, I'm willing to learn. And by the way, I may screw it up, but I try.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I believe in being a lifelong learner, so I think that's important. So
Yeah. Okay. So you're going to get from me in a little bit a video link, your ChatGPT link, and we didn't use the board today. So I'll send all that over to you. And if you have questions or you need anything else, you just let me know.
if you would let me know what the name of that book is.
Oh, yes. I will send it over to you. It's by Stephen Kahn, but I'll send you the
Okay.
link in just a little bit.
Perfect.
Okay. See
Awesome.
you
Thank
soon.
you, Kat.
Okay. You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye bye.